stand. There it is. You may lie down, you may rest your head and relax. It's always a good place to start. So in your own time, just rolling back onto the floor. Let the head rest and the shoulders relax. You're going to take your palms away from your body. You've got that tight knot, Bridget. I'm going out. Oh. So you're going to take your hands away from your body when you're ready. There you go. With your palms up to the ceiling. Let the weight of your shoulders just sink down to the floor. So there's not go any tension around the neck and your shoulders. Gently draw the chin down so you're lengthening the back of your neck. And just breathe. And as you breathe, I want you to feel like the back of your ribs lift off the floor. Your rib cage expands. And as you breathe out, let the back of the ribs sink down to the ground. So again, breathe in. Feel like you're blowing your chest up like a big balloon. Rib cage opens. And then breathe out, softening the back of the ribs down onto the ground. One more time. So it's just encouraging our shoulders, our neck, our ribs, just to relax and soften. Now staying here with the ribs down. Gently draw the belly through to the back. Just keep a little connection to your core, but not pressing that lower back into the ground. When you're ready, bring your hands to your shoulders, pointing your elbows up to the ceiling. Keep that connection now through your lower back, so you're not allowing your lower back to lift. But as you breathe in, you're going to open the elbows and try it, open the ribs. And as you breathe out, pressing the ribs down to the floor. Breathe in again, opening. And breathe out to close. Feel the openness right across your heart centre. And as you open the elbows, start to feel your shoulder blades sliding towards each other. So it's also encouraging some movement now through the back of your body at the same time. And next time you come into the centre, keeping that connection through your core, elbows point to ceiling, and we're just going to start to circle the elbows around. Just a nice small circle to begin with. And each time you're making the circles a little bit bigger. Breathe it in as you open, out as you pull back to the centre. Now try to keep the ribs down as still this time as you're circling your shoulders, so more of the movement comes around the shoulders rather than using our back. Reverse your circles, so starting from the centre, start with small ones, bit by bit just making them a little bit bigger. Just let your breath naturally flow, no tension. Just feel the movement around the shoulders, but the stillness of your ribs. And then resting in the centre. Elbows point to ceiling. Reach both arms up to the ceiling, palms face each other. Now make your right arm longer than your left, like you're trying to touch the ceiling, and then press your shoulder back into the floor. Then your left arm reaches up, and you press the shoulder down. This starts to get the shoulder blades moving. And it also brings a little stretch in that muscle just between the shoulder blade and the spine. Now we also want to get the opposite side of the shoulder to stabilise. So really feel that you're pushing the shoulder down to the floor and keep pressing it down to the floor as you lift the opposite arm. So we're stabilising on one side and mobilising on the other side. Still keep the chin tucked in. Nice and long through the back of the neck. And once more. Now keeping the ribs down, so we're not letting the ribs lift. We're going to reach the arms back and turn the palms up and bring your elbows down to your ribs. Reach into the ankles, arms come back and over the head. Turn the palms up to the ceiling. So that helps get into the chest and into the shoulders. Now again, as we're moving the arms, we're trying not to let the movement come through the back. Sometimes if you're a little stiff through the shoulders, you'll feel your back wants to lift and move to help. So we're trying to get that little connection to our core and let the movement again just come in and around those shoulder joints. Feel the breath now, big breath in. Keep the ribs down. Breathe out, open the chest. And as you pull your elbows down to your ribs, pull the shoulder blades down to the back of the ribs at the same time. Now the arms stop above your shoulders. We're going to reach both arms out nice and wide. Lengthen the back of the neck and just let your head turn so you look into your right hand and then to your left hand. Keep both shoulders drawing down to the back of the rib cage. So you've got lots of space between the ear and the shoulder. And keeping both shoulders firmly pressed down onto the floor. And once more. And then resting in the centre with your nose to the ceiling. Now taking your feet just a little bit wider than your hips, we're now going to roll the knees. So the knees roll to the right and then to the left. Looking for some stability through the shoulders and the back of the ribs. So we're trying to keep the ribs and the shoulders still and just letting the knees roll from one side to the other. So it's getting the mobility through the ankles, through the knees and through the hips, but we're still again looking at stability to our upper body. We can't relax everything just yet. Couple more each way when you're ready. And then we're going to settle in the centre. Bring the feet back to hip distance. Grab a hold of the back of your thighs and we're going to start to circle the knees. Gently pulling the knees in towards the chest and then pushing the knees away. Again, start with small circles, and if it feels comfortable, you can make those circles a little bit bigger. Then you can draw the knees in towards your chest more, feeling the bottom starting to peel away from the ground. Reverse your circles, take them the opposite way, push away, and then pull back into the centre. Just let your breath flow with your movements, in through your nose, out through your mouth. And one more circle. Hold it in the centre. Place your left foot down to the floor. Bring the arms back out wide. And let's do our can-can. You're going to reach forward, pull in, and then reach upwards. Now, the main focus is trying to get the legs straight each time. So if you can't get the legs straight above the hip, just reach out to the diagonal. And the main thing is you squeeze the front of your thigh, it stretches across the back of the knee. If you're trying to get your leg high and it's not straightening, we're never stretching here at the back of the knee. So again, each time, straight. Push away. Squeeze the front of your thigh. Then we're going to get into the calves next. We're going to start to dig in with the heel. So your foot stays flexed and you're pushing away with the heel each time. Breathing out each time as you push. The out breath is going to hopefully help the muscles stretch and relax a little bit more. One more time, and now keep your knee above your hip. Take your left leg out straight. You're going to open the knee to the front and then take it across your body. Focus again, keeping the ribs and the shoulders down the floor. Just letting the movement come through the hip and the lower back. Again, just let your breath flow with your movement. Breathing in as you open the hip, breathing out to pull it back across. Once more here, and then resting, placing your foot down. Change legs when you're ready. So your left knee above your hip, right leg extends, and you can. Push forward, and then reach up. Squeezing the front of the thigh to encourage the length through the leg. A little bit of brace through your core so as you extend your leg away, you're not letting the back lift away from the ground. And then when you're ready, let's get into the heel. Dig in with the heel. And you should feel it as you're digging away with the heel now, it's bringing more stretch into your calf, into the back of the knee. Maybe all the way towards your bottom. Whichever bit's tightest is where you're going to feel this picking up. Give me a couple more. And the knee stopping above your hip. Bring your knee across your body and out to the side. So getting more mobility through the hip joint. A little bit of movement coming through that lower back. There's still lots of stability and grounding through your upper body. Again, feel the legs a little heavier as it comes across. It maybe sinks a little further to the ground. Couple more. Oh. And then resting again in the centre. Grab a hold of your thighs. Our pixie rolls, tucking our chin. You're going to cross your legs, come forward, allow yourself to flex forward, and then uncross your legs, roll back, and crossing the feet, the opposite foot in front each time. A little tuck in with the chin, feel your body weight coming forwards. But keep it nice and controlled, so you're just not letting your head flop to the floor. It's just going to help bring a little bit more stretch and movement into our spine. And give me a couple more. Oh. And then your next one, you get to stay forwards, keeping the ankles crossed. Coming into the centre, coming up tall. Now from here, we're going to start with the arms. The hands are going to reach out wide. I'm going to turn so it's easier for you to see. So we've got the hands out wide. Keep the left hand to the floor. Reach your right arm forward and then roll the elbow and the shoulder back. You're going to try and keep your left hand pressed into the floor. And I want you to think about opening your right shoulder. Pull the shoulder blade back and start to let your eye gaze follow your hand. Breathing into lift. Now try and make your circle bigger so you're reaching, and then rolling. Now try and keep your hip bones anchored to the floor. So it's keeping the pelvis still and letting more movement come into your spine. Give me one more circle, and then land your hand down on the floor. Keep the hand firm onto the floor, and let your left arm reach over and back. So you're bending your right elbow a little to allow you to go a little further down towards the floor. As the arm reaches over, try and get the arm in line with your ear, and feel like you're pressing your palm down towards the ground. Couple more here, feeling the stretch through the waist, but no movement through your hips. They're super glued to the ground, and stay in the centre. So your left hand now, circling forward, reaching, and then rolling back. Trying to make the circle a little bit bigger each time. Imagine you're almost trying to brush your hair as you reach the arm back. Feel the shoulder, the chest opening. And your eye gaze, follow your elbow. And again, that's going to help bring more movement into the neck and possibly more stretch in and around your shoulder. Good for shoulder mobility for you tennis ladies. And give it 2 more circles here. And then you can let your hand again rest down to the floor, and then come over with the right arm and then ease back. Bending your left elbow to allow you to go a little bit further. Let's find that length in the arms, so reaching right into the fingertips. Breathing out through the mouth and a gentle breath into the centre. Give me 2 more side bends. And your last one here. Perfect. I think we're doing a lie down. So grab your band. I'm going to put the band around the right foot. So once you've got the band firmly around your right foot, you want that right leg, I've got a knot in mine now, right leg out straight. Bring your left arm out to the side so it's in line with your shoulder. You're going to put a bit of tension onto the leg, and then just gently roll yourself back. Use the leg to ease yourself down. Head rests, shoulder rests, and your arm rests. Now, from here you can use the band and gently pull this leg in and out. Not forcing it. Try not to allow the knee to bend. But starting to think about your bottom. Super glue it down on the floor. So the more we keep the pelvis still, the more stretch that's going to come into our hamstrings. And you might be working down here, which is fine. As long as you're feeling the stretch in the hamstrings, that's all we need to begin with. And a couple more here. And then holding in the centre. We're now going to circle the leg. So starting with a small circle. Foot moving around the hip. Don't worry too much about that left leg moving. Just get this right one moving. Now again, the circles might be lower. Might be down further towards the floor. The main thing is, as you're circling your leg, you're trying not to bend the knee. So it's keeping that stretch and that tension in the hamstrings. A little bit bigger each time if you can. And then from here, stay in the centre. Taking the circle the opposite way around when you're ready. And don't be afraid to use the arm to pull the leg around. Don't worry about the opposite knee moving. Use the in-breath. Let your breath go. Trying to get that foot around every digit on that little clock. Or that big clock. 2 more circles. And then resting in the centre. Hold on to the band. Anchor the shoulders again. And use both hands this time. So you can pull the leg a little further back. Breathing out each time you pull back. 5 more. 4. 3. Little bit of tension on the band in 2. 1. Keep the band. Tension onto the band and pull yourself back up to where it began. Perfect. From there, again, this knee can drop out the side, or it can just sit here wherever it's more comfortable. Chest nice and lifted, and we just gently hinge forward. Try not to let the upper back round. So as you come forward, try and keep that space between your ribs and your hips. So you're lifting the heart up and pulling gently forward with the band. Feeling those hamstrings. Give me 1 more and stay here in the centre. And you're going to try and gently lift the foot off the floor. So again, try and let the back move. Keep pulling up through the head. Gently easing back with the leg. It doesn't have to be too high. Just feeling that stretch, easing down the back of the thigh. Couple more. It's a bit of an arm workout as well. And then you can have a rest. Release the band now, pop it to the side. Cross both feet again. Knees out nice and wide, and this time we're going to alternate from one side to the other. Just allowing a little bit more movement into the spine. Getting the back a little looser. Allowing your head to feel a little bit heavier. So let the head sink towards your ear. Making the arm a little longer if you can. You can bend the arm and let the elbow come down to the ground. But try not to let those hips rock. Once more on each side. And then resting in the middle. Still the hamstrings on the other side. So when you're ready, band around your left foot out straight. We're going to have your right arm out to the side. Tension onto the band. And then when you're ready, back up tall. Roll back. Easing down through your spine, let the head rest, let the shoulder rest, leg nice and straight, and just gently start to pull that leg backwards and forward with the band. Never forcing it. Again, we're just searching for that mild stretch each time. Breathing out each time you pull the band back. And again, a little bit of a bicep curl going on at the same time. It's a double workout. Once more. And then let's go into our circles. So starting with small circles. Again, you're using the band to gently pull the leg around. Trying to get the leg as straight as you can. Start small, bit by bit make it bigger. See if you can press the tailbone to the floor and keep that little pocket of air between your lower back and your mat as your leg moves. So at the same time you're using your core to keep everything in place and just letting the hamstrings enjoy the stretch. When I say enjoy, you know what I mean. Go the other way around when you're ready. Start with a small circle. You can keep the hips anchored to the floor. The more you're going to keep your pelvis still, the more stretch you're going to feel in your hamstrings. A little bit of work for that arm as well as you pull that leg around. A little bit bigger each time if you can. But still not letting that lower back press into the floor. Stay in the centre. Grab the strap in each hand. And let's go with that leg again, pulling backwards and forwards. Hopefully feeling it's moving a little bit easier now. Maybe notice it's coming a little bit further. Maybe it's easier to keep the bottom pressed into the ground. 4, 3, 2, and your last one. Tension onto the band. Come up when you're ready. Again, let that right leg sit wherever it feels comfortable. Main thing is our posture and a long back, and try and keep that length in the back as you hinge forward. So it's like you're pushing your heart forward rather than your head. The head come forward, you see how the back wants to round and the ribs have collapsed. So the more we keep lengthening and lifting, the less we'll move, but the more we're going to feel it in our hamstrings. Go with a couple more here. And then holding, keeping the posture, keeping the back long. And see if you just lift the leg. It might just be an inch, that's fine. Try not to rock back as you lift your leg. So strong and lifted. And then feeling that how that comes into your hamstrings. Breathe out each lift. That probably helps the hamstrings to relax a little bit more. And your last one. Good work. You can let your band go now. Alright, into seated with the feet nice and wide. Let's get the hips moving a little bit more. So knees open, hands by the hips, and you'll roll to your right and lift your chest up, and then roll to your left, and again lift your chest. So think about pushing your hands down to the floor and lifting your rib cage nice and high. So you can start to see how that brings a little bit of extension into the spine. Now think about the hips, thrust your hip forward, squeeze your bum and lift the ribs. Next time you come over to your right, let's down that right hand side, lifting the chest up nice and high. We're going to bring the left hand onto the right ankle and your right hand just sitting above the knee. Chest lifts, just allowing yourself to tip forwards. Trying to get the heart towards your shin, keeping the back long. Keep gently pressing the knee down to the ground. And now start to turn a little and look over your right shoulder. So you get a little bit more rotation through your upper back. But in this position, your hips have to stay still. There's nowhere for them to go. So we start to get more movement through the spine. We start to feel the stretch more into the hip. Couple more. And your last one. And rest. Let's come back to the circles. So the left arm, reaching out to the side. Reach, reach, reach. And then roll back. So again, you're going to reach, reach, reach as far as you can. And roll back. So you feel your weight comes into your right hand. And use your right hand to push off the ground. Now feel your left shoulder opens up. Pull the elbow right back past the ear. Ooh, it's like your forearm trying to skim the top of your head. 2 more circles. Ooh. And your last one. And resting at the top. Take a hold of your left foot. Pick it up the foot, so you can pull your leg back for 3, 2, land on 1. And your right hand, on the floor, push it into the ground and really lift up through your chest. And start to pull the heel in towards your bottom. And as you pull the heel in, you should feel how that helps develop the stretch down the front of your left thigh. Again, a little bit of work for the arms at the same time. But still working your posture, so as you move your foot, you're trying to keep your upper body still. Hold it in this time, so you're holding the heel into the bottom. Now we're going to rock. So just gently rock your left hip forward. It's like you're trying to turn your left hip bone down to the ground. Kind of trying to roll onto the top of your left knee. And get your toes maybe to point up to the ceiling a little bit more. Give me a couple more there. It's good for your hips, I promise. And resting in the centre. You can let that foot go. When you're ready, roll back to the left, lift your chest up, and over to your right. So again, just allow the hips to move. If you want to, you can lift the feet off the floor as you roll from side to side to get more of a massage into your bottom. posture in. So again, really tall, lifting your heart up. Stay to the left this time. Always drift off my mat for those ones. So when you're ready, your right hand onto your ankle, left hand just above your knee. Lift the chest so your back's long. And again, from the hips, just tipping forward. Try to get your heart forward again of your shin. Breathing out as you hinge forwards. Let the elbows bend rather than the back. Now feel how you let go of your breath as you sink into that stretch. Let it go. And again. Now start to turn a little, look over your left shoulder. So try to almost turn the shoulders to the back of the room. That brings more into the hips. So it does on this side. And go with 4 more. Again, nice and controlled. Don't force it, just feel the stretch come into the hips to allow that movement to occur. And then resting in the centre. Take your right foot, lean onto your left hip, and then pull your right knee back for 3, 2, land it. Lift your chest up. So again, sometimes the back compensates. Once you get the front of the ribs lifted, start to ease the heel back and forward. And each time you bring the heel back, just feel a little bit more stretch down the front of that thigh. Again, another arm workout. Lift the ribs, lift the heart. Try not to let your upper body move as you move your leg. So it's just coming into the thigh, that's it. And a couple more. Now hold the stretch, so you're holding the heel slightly in, and just roll into your right hip. It's like you've got a light here on your hip bone, and trying to shine it down to the floor. But keep trying to lift the heart. So again, the back stays lengthened, and you're just rocking from side to side. Gently squeezing the bottom to keep that right hip gently thrust forward. 4, 3, 2, and your last one, armrest in the centre. Let your foot go. Bring your feet back into the centre. Now from here you're going to bring the feet towards each other. So you might get the feet to touch the soles of your feet, or you might feel the feet more flat on the floor. Either way, we're going to try and drop the knees out wide. If you can, taking a hold of the ankles and pulling the heels back towards the hips. You might find, if you pull your feet too far back, your posture compensates. So lift the chest first, keep the chest up, and then pull back in with the feet. Holding on to the ankles or the toes, gentle rock forwards. Now again, it's quite easy to end up round in the back, but that means keep stretching the back here. So the more you keep the back long and the chest lifted, as you tip forward from the hips, you're going to feel it more into the hips and less into the back. And you can use your hands to gently pull yourself forward. And keep gently pushing your heart forward towards your toes. So you'll lengthen again each time. And a couple more. Those hips are going to be super loose today. Once you finish that last one, we're going to take the feet wide, each hip distance apart. Hands come, like an air hostess when I do this one. Hands come through the centre, underneath the thighs, and then wrap around to the ankles. Bring the chin in, draw the belly to the back. Now breathe in and broaden your upper back. So as you breathe in, you almost feel like your shoulder blades spread apart. And then breathe in again, try and create a little bit more space between each rib. Keep gently drawing the belly button to the spine and the chin in towards the chest. And then when you're ready, you can release. Keep the feet hip distance apart, right hand onto the floor, reach up with the left hand and over to the outside of your right foot. I like this one. So you're pushing your foot down to a pedal and you're trying to pull your foot back at the same time with your hand. Now, a little tuck in the chin, you can have a look past your right shoulder. If that's enough of a stretch for you, stay where you are. If you want to deepen that stretch, you extend your leg out straight and keep trying to hold onto the outer edge of your foot. Now again, you're going to push the foot down to the pedal a little bit more. You're going to try and pull that foot back a little bit harder. Keep pulling back with the hand, keep pressing down with your foot. And you should feel that really starts to get in and around your left shoulder. And then release when you're ready. Come back into the centre, change sides, so reach up first, reach over, take the outside of your foot. So again, if you're thinking fairly close, that's fine, just so you can grab a hold of the foot, try and push the foot down onto the pedal, pull back with your hand, and as soon as you pull the foot back, you should feel that stretch coming around this right shoulder. If you want more, straighten out that left leg. Keep trying to push down to the pedal and keep pulling back with the hand at the same time. Turn the head and looking over your left shoulder. Breathe in, broaden that upper back. Breathe out, push the foot down a little further. Turn the head, turn the shoulders if you can. And then you can release your foot. Bring the knees in. Come onto your hands and knees. Knees under the shoulders. No, don't. Put the hands under the shoulders, put the knees under the hips. That works so much better. And if you do it the other way around, well done, your stretching's worked. Feet hip distance apart. Take a nice big cat stretch and just pull the hips back and then push your chest forward and lift. So you're almost drawing a circle with your spine. You're drawing the belly up, tucking your chin in and then coming forwards and lifting your heart. You press into the hands to push yourself up away from the floor. So it's good for our shoulder stability. And then you're trying to skim the floor with your chest. And one more time. And then stay in the centre here and tuck your toes. Lift your knees when you're ready. Trying to straighten the legs, lifting the bottom up. Pressing evenly into both hands. Try and let the head come forward, that's it. You're pulling your ears back between your arms and you're going to walk on the spot. One heel lifts, one heel lowers. Pushing the knee forward in line with your hands. Rolling back onto the heel and to the ball of your foot. Just keeping the knees, the hips, the ankles nicely aligned. When you're ready, lift both heels and try and press both heels back. Again, lift both heels. And then try and press both heels back. Again, just that point of stretch lift. Let the weight go back. Breathe in with your lift. And then breathe out, push back. Couple more there. And your last one. And this time, bend both knees. Step your feet in. Allow yourself to hang. Elbows can rest on your thighs. Or for a deeper stretch here, cradle your elbows. So you've got your hands coming to your opposite elbows. Letting the forearms sink down to the floor. Bring the chin in so you're lengthening the back of your neck. Nice big breath in. Let the breath wall up through your spine. As you breathe out, let the head feel that little bit heavier. So you're letting your chest sink a little further. Soft knees. And then when you're ready, release the arms. And restack your well-stretched bodies. Easing up through each vertebrae. Rolling the shoulders back. Nice big breath in. Turn both hands. Press the ceiling. And then drop your hands down. And again, breathe in. Turn your palms. Press. And let your breath go. And release. And once more. Breathe into your nose. And it's definitely nice to stretch this morning. And release. Give your shoulders a shrug. And your ladies definitely deserve a cup of tea this morning. And your last one. Oh, the ladies are stretched. Thank you all very much.